Elizabeth Chappell, a lifelong entrepreneur who finally found my niche. After years of new ideas and jumping from business to business, I figured out how to turn a craft into a successful career. In 2016, I started a monthly subscription box for quilters. That little startup has grown into a thriving, multiple six-figure business that I am so proud of. As a published author, designer of fabrics and patterns being sold throughout the world, my favorite thing to do is to teach others how to grow a career of their dreams. Each week, you'll hear from me or from other guests who are creative entrepreneurs, so you can learn exactly what to do and what not to do to grow a career that's more rewarding and successful than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to turn your craft into a career that you love, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the Craft to Career podcast. Have you ever set a goal and just felt like, yeah, oops, I didn't do that? Or even worse, a few days down the road, you're like, man, I feel like such a loser. I couldn't even have the discipline to do this for X amount of days. I have been there. We've all been there. And it's not because we aren't disciplined enough. It's because we're not setting goals in a smart way. And I don't mean that to be rude. I mean, there is an acronym, SMART, S-M-A-R-T, and it is a method of setting goals that actually works. I know because I've been doing it, and I've spent a lifetime of trying to set goals and failing and falling short. And now I'm setting goals that I'm able to keep. And it is the most exciting and fulfilling and little baby step by little baby step, life altering thing ever. So let's talk about these SMART goals. But first, I do want to say there are times and seasons in life. If you're in a season where you're like taking a break, right? Let's go with the seasons of the world. There is spring, summer, autumn, fall. Nope, that's the same. Spring, summer, fall, winter. So summer, I think we as humans feel like we need to be in a constant state of summer, like bright, sunshiny, productive, da 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 da. But we are humans and we have other seasons of life as well. And sometimes it's a winter season where we are a little more hibernating and it's cold and we're withdrawn. That's okay. We go through these seasons. And so if you're in a season of winter right now, don't beat yourself up about it. I hear people say like, oh, I've lost my sojo, my mojo, whatever it might be. What can I do to get it back? My biggest advice is don't try to get it back. Like it will come. Just enjoy this season of a break and know that that thing that you love, it's not gone. It's just in a little bit of a hibernation. And the more we fight to get it back, I feel like the harder it is to get it back. So my guess is if you're in that season, you're not listening to this podcast episode, because when I was recently going through my own take a break, I wasn't listening to things like this because I knew I was just not going to want to hear it. So you're probably not in that season if you're listening. But if you are, just know it's okay. It's okay to have a season of wintering. When you feel ready, first, I recommend that you surround yourself with motivation. And not just any motivation, but the right motivation for you. So what that isn't is when you hear people talk about what they're doing and you feel a sense of FOMO or shame that you're not enough, or like, oh, come on, pull it together. If they're able to do it, why can't I? And I experience that sometimes with like nutrition or business. I mean, anyone, anything in their life. It could be like as a mother, as whatever. If I look at that person and feel less than, or shame or guilt, or like any of those negative feelings, that's a sign that that's not the right motivation for you. Now, I know I've experienced this, and I would venture to say everyone, you have been around someone who is such a beacon of light. They motivate you and excite you. You hear of their example and they're doing something that you really admire, and it motivates you in a positive way. You feel excited. You feel like you respect them, and you feel like hopeful about your future instead of like, aw. That's the right kind of motivation to surround yourself with. So first, just be very in tune with the kind of motivation that you're looking at and that it's positive. And no person, I mean, someone who's the right motivation for me might not be for you. So no one can tell you what that's going to look like for you. It's such an inside job, and it's part of listening to yourself and being very in tune with yourself. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about, this is something that forever, I've actually never done it. And I've been like, I never will. But my twin sister made a mood board. And she actually was also like, I'm not making that. But some friends got together and she's like, all right, fine, I'll come, I'll do it. And she loved it. And she shared her mood board with all of the sisters, my sisters, and we all loved it. And she was like, I'm shocked. Like, this was so fun. And I feel this positive motivation. And me looking at her mood board got me motivated. So she just put photos from her past and some that were stock photos, just an overall picture of what she wanted in her life this year or forever, moving forward. So I went on Canva and I did the same thing. I just found a template and I just put photos of like, I want to learn how to play poker and Texas Hold'em with my family. I want family game nights. I want to eat well and focus on nutrition. I want to exercise. I want to focus on work a bit. I want to learn Spanish. I want to play the piano. I want to practice the piano more. So this is just the mood board. These are not the goals. This is just helping to paint a picture, make a sketch, print it out, put it up somewhere that just helps remind you of like the direction that you're going, the things that are important. It helps, I've done an exercise before where you imagine yourself going on a journey and you see all these mirrors and you step into one and you are in the future and you see yourself as like the most fit person. You look down at your body and your body is fit and you feel healthy and energized, and you step out and you come back and you go in all these 5 different mirrors, and they're all different aspects of life where you just feel your best, you're most loved, most connected with people, the most successful with your business. And as you do this and you go down that path, you start to step into that body. You start to feel that you have accomplished it. That's what we're accomplishing with the mood board. You are painting a picture of the person you want to be, the future you want to have. So now with that picture in mind, we are going to start setting some SMART goals. And SMART, like I said, it is an acronym. And I'm going to encourage you to pick 1 or 2 things. I mean, even just one, starting off with 1, because our goal here is to have success. When you have more than 1 goal, like if I were to take that mood board and turn those all into goals, that's one way to have overwhelm and to fail. Like, I'm going to practice piano every day, practice Spanish every day, exercise every day, play, it's too much. It's just too much. It's too much of a change that it's not going to happen. So we are going to choose one thing and we are going to make it so simple, easy that you will have success with it. So for example, I've done this with 2 things now in my life. The first is I'm going to check my business email for 10 minutes a day. Now, the email in my business has been the bane of my existence since the beginning of my business. How many times can I say business? I haven't in the past liked it. There have been emails that have gone overlooked forever. There have been things that it's not been great. It's been such a bleh in my business. So when I heard about this idea of SMART goals and tiny, tiny little goals and doing just one, I was like, okay, I can do 10 minutes a day. I can sit down and do 10 minutes a day. I may not get to every email, and I'm not going to retroactively go back past probably a month. That's done. We're looking forward here. I'm looking forward, and I'm committed to doing 10 minutes every weekday, not on the weekends. Weekends I'm off. If I do hop on the weekend, fine, but it's not part of my goal. So it's been amazing. My email inbox isn't such a crazy disaster. And I don't know if my inbox is slower than normal or if it's just because I'm doing the 10 minutes a day, but all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this. I can do this. Why haven't I just done 10 minutes a day or ever? We're not going to do that. We're not going to blame ourselves for what we haven't done in the past. But I will say, I'm doing it. My gosh, I'm doing it. And it might even be one night, it was bedtime. And I was like, oh no, I didn't do my 10 minutes. I'm like, well, it's 10 minutes. I'll go in. And I just did my 10 minutes. The second one that I'm now adding is we have a treadmill at our house. And so I put on this weighted vest. Yes, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm 43 years old. I hear osteoporosis is a thing for women as we age. Weighted vests apparently help with that. So put on my weighted vest and walk on that treadmill for 10 minutes a day. Now, here's the cool thing and something to be careful of. Some days I will run more or walk more than 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, sweet. Yeah, let's just go another. Let's do 20. Let's do whatever, 30. Awesome. Like half of the problem with change in life is momentum. An object in motion will stay in motion. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. What, Newton is it? So it's just that matter of getting going. But be so careful with that, because now when I do go on the treadmill for only 10 minutes a day, I'm sometimes like, oh man, but I did 20 minutes yesterday. Shouldn't I just do? So be so careful. The goal is only 10 minutes a day, and that is a success. If you do more, fine. But it's not like you need to celebrate it more because you did more. That can be the slippery slope that I have seen myself want to go down and have to conscientiously like, no, it's 10 minutes. And in fact, I've just created a calendar checklist where there's a little spot to mark, a little check mark each day when I do my 10 minutes walking on the treadmill. That's been really helpful for me because I'm like, sweet, check mark. It doesn't matter if it's 10 or more. It's just a matter of getting that check mark. And I've actually created it as a free PDF download. So if you go to the show notes for this podcast episode, either on my blog or in Apple Podcasts, you can go to the show notes. There's a link to get this free PDF download. And it has a place for you to write down your SMART goal, the acronym. You go through each one of which we'll talk about in a minute. And then a little calendar where you can mark off each day where you do your one goal every day. And the really cool thing about this, it's so small, right? 10 minutes a day, but it is rewiring my brain. It is changing my mindset. It's changing the way I view myself, and it is changing my habits. So it's too early to say yet, but I mean, I'm curious in a year if I still have to make a monthly goal to check my email for 10 minutes a day, or if that will just become intrinsic habit, like brushing my teeth. So I'll see in a year if I need to keep setting that goal or if I can now do something else, which I think is what's going to happen, is that all of a sudden this has become such a part of who I am, such a habit, that now I add something else on. And that is the beauty of these small goals, just 10 minutes a day, one thing, and do it for 1 month. That's it. Like you can do one thing for 10 minutes a day, a month, and that is such a win. It's really great for the psyche to be like, yes, I did it. So now let's talk about the acronym of SMART goals. So what does each, SMART, what does it stand for? The S stands for specific. So what exactly do you want it to do? You want it to be clear, detailed, like walk 10 minutes each day with a weighted vest, whatever that might be. You just want it to be very, very specific. M, measurable. So you are going to keep track of this. It needs to be something like 10 minutes a day, something that you can say, turn on the clock and do it, or yes or no, I did it. It is measurable. A, you want it to be achievable. So this is an easy win. You want it to be attainable, something you can realistically do. Now, if I were to make a goal like run 30 minutes, even just walk 30 minutes a day, for me, 30 minutes is just enough that I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm just not feeling it today. 10 minutes is just the right amount for me that it's like, yeah, okay. Even like I said, even if I'm about to go to bed and I haven't done it, I can be like, just go, you can go do 10 minutes. I mean, 10 minutes, whatever. For me, that's achievable. For you, what's achievable. You want it to be so Stupid easy, simply smart easy. We'll say smart easy. R is relevant. Now, this goes into your mood board. You want this to be aligned with your overall life goals. Only you know that. So, if you're setting a goal to like, I'm going to earn $1 million this month, but your life goal is to make connections with people, that's not going to be aligned. You want it to really be aligned with your values and what you are working towards in your life at this moment. And then T, you want it to be time oriented. So you have a deadline, it's going to be finished by whatever. For me, like I said, it's a 1 month. I'm going to do this for 1 month. So it's time oriented. When is it going to be completed? So why SMART goals? Well, it's clear and it's measurable. It's not some like, I'm going to be healthy. Like you cannot measure that. I mean, if you can, then let's talk about how you're going to measure it, So let's give a few examples of SMART versus non-SMART goals. So a non-SMART goal, I want to grow my business. Okay, that is not SMART because it's not specific. It's not measurable. Is it attainable? Well, I don't know, because what does that even mean? Is it relevant? Again, only you can answer that. Is that aligned with your life? And then time oriented. It's definitely not time oriented. I want to grow my business. What? By when? So let's change that and make it into a SMART goal. I'm going to increase my email list by 500 people a month. Okay, wow, very specific. You're going to increase what? Your email list. By how many? 500 people. By when? End of the month. So for me, I like to even go a step further. Like if that were my goal, I would say, okay, what could I do to accomplish that goal? For me, I would say I'm going to create one opt-in a month and share about it once a week on social media. So very specific, very measurable. I'm going to do it for 1 month, create one opt-in, post about it once a week on social media, and have it in a month. And then I would look and see how many people joined my list. I like to make goals of things that I can be in charge of. I cannot control if 500 other people join my email list, but I can be in charge of me creating an opt-in and me posting about it once a month. And then I can look at the results and tweak what actions I make to adjust as needed. So, okay, another non-SMART goal. I want to earn $1,000. Okay, it's specific. It's not measurable. It's not time-oriented. Again, attainable and relevant, that's up to you. But now let's make it a little bit better. I want to earn $1,000 a month. Okay, that's specific. It's measurable. It's time-oriented. But again, I want to make a goal of exactly how. I'm going to break that down. So for me, I charge $15 a pattern for my main patterns. So $1,000. If I want $1,000 a month, divide that by 15, that's 66.6. So that'd be 67 patterns that I need to sell in a month to earn $1,000. So I would say I want to sell 67 patterns this month. Then I would even go a step further. How? Okay, I want to send an email every week because it's not in my control how many people buy a pattern. So what is in my control? I'm going to set a SMART goal that is something I can check off of a list. It's not up to other people. So I would narrow that goal down even more and say, I am going to send one email every week for a month. In that email, I will promote one different pattern every week. And for me personally, so that let's say there's 4 weeks this month. Okay, I'm going to send out 4 different emails and I would choose 4 different patterns to promote each week. And one of those weeks I would do a surprise sale and let them know, hey, there's a surprise sale, normally 15 on sale for 12. Because whenever there's a sale, your sales go up. You will sell more. So for me, that would be my goal. And I would also personally, this is just business, I'm giving you some marketing tips here. I would go to ChatGPT and say, please write me a sample email that's personal and funny that promotes this pattern, and put in, a place for me to insert a story. So 4 different weeks, 4 emails. I'm not only going to sell. I'm going to put other stuff. I mean, I have my emails into a rhythm. So for me, that's not like crazy to come up with these emails, but you don't just want to sell. You want to put in some other things in there, like a free tutorial blog post, or I don't know, a favorite recipe you found, connect with them on a personal level, and then also share the pattern that's for sale. So that would be what I would do for 1 month. And then I would evaluate at the end of the month, how many patterns did I sell? Okay, I sold 400. I'd love to get to 500. What else could I do? And then try something different the next month and change that SMART goal for the next month. But again, whatever your goal is, these are examples for me from my business. You might hear that and feel overwhelmed by sending out 1 email every week. That's attainable for me. You are going to do something that's attainable for you. And it's going to look different for each person. And there might be other people who are like, 1 email a week, that's nothing. I send 2 a week. Or I was talking to someone about their blog, very successful blog. I was like, well, how many blog posts do you write? She's like, well, at this point, I'm only writing 1 a week. I was like, whoa, mind blown. For me, writing 1 blog post a week is a lot. But for her, she's now only writing 1 a week. It really put things in perspective where I was like, okay, all right, we have a different sense of what's attainable, because my baby steps are very different than her baby steps. She's taken baby steps in the blogging world that I haven't done yet. And so just, you're taking, I don't know if you've seen that movie, What About Bob? Bob is like, I read your book. He goes to a therapist and he's always taking baby steps, like baby steps to the door, baby steps outside. We are taking baby steps. Our SMART goals are our baby steps. And if you start to feel like, man, but my baby steps are so baby, like they're so little. For me, hearing about her blog, only writing 1 a week now and seeing her vast library of all her blog posts, it can feel like, well, what's the point? I'm not even going to make a dent. Just throw in the towel. But here's the deal. It does make a dent. These small goals that you are setting, they shift and change who we are. Time is going to come. A year from now, we will be here. I mean, hopefully, assuming we live, we will be here a year from now. Are we going to look any different? Are we going to take action headed in a certain direction? These baby steps do add up. Like, we will change over time. It's just a matter of if we want to help dictate which direction we're going, or if we're just going to sit back and be a circumstance of our life and our situation. So these SMART, let me go through it again, the acronym. SMART is S, specific, M, measurable, A, achievable or attainable, R, relevant, and T, time oriented. And again, you want it to just be so easy. You want it to just be like, 10 minutes on the treadmill, I can do that. Whatever that might look like for you. And then it's really important to review and adjust. So at the end of the month, look at, was this doable for me? Did it work? What do I need to adjust or try differently? Or, for me with the emails, I'm really hoping that will just become like that's just a habit. So I don't need to rinse and repeat. Now, some pitfalls that we want to avoid when setting our SMART goals: making them very vague. We've talked about that. We need it to be specific. Not keeping track of our goals. Now, you could set a SMART goal, but if you don't have a way to check it and say, okay, yes, I did it. No, I didn't do it. It's really not as effective. So do get that free PDF download. I've done it for you. I've created that checklist for you. There's 2 pages. The first page, you write down your goal and it breaks it down into the SMART, and you write down, how is it specific? How is it measurable? How is it attainable? How is it relevant? Time oriented. Second page, it has a whole month with each day, and you just put a little check mark. And then at the bottom of that, it has a review for you. You get to go through the wins. You can celebrate what you did. You can adjust and pivot and see what you want to work on next. So that is something this will help you avoid that pitfall of not keeping track of your goals. And then also another pitfall is goals that are just too lofty or hard. It's just too unattainable. Remember, we are taking baby steps. And also avoid the pitfall of the wrong motivation. This goes into the R. You want it to be relevant. You want it to be something that really does align with your purpose, where you are headed in your life. And we are setting one goal, just one goal. And I know that's the thing. I think with that too lofty, it starts to feel like, really, one goal? Ugh, why even do? I've got to make 5. There is a reason that people fall off the wagon and stop doing the things that they want to work on. And it's because it's overwhelming. It's too much. So try just one goal. Think of it at the end of the year. If you did one per month, that's 12 areas of your life, 12 things that you will have become better at. And 10 minutes, everything compounds over time. 10 minutes a day on the treadmill with that weighted vest, there will be a difference at the end of the year. Next year, my body will be healthier. My heart, my bones. I don't know if I'll look any different, but my body will be healthier. My email inbox will be better. My customer service, my ability to respond to my emails will be better because I have spent all of these tiny little baby steps make a huge difference over time. I heard a pilot once giving the analogy of if they're flying and they are just 1 degree off, after 100 miles, they are miles off from their target. So these little 1 degree shifts, like baby step, 10 minute on the treadmill, whatever it might be, over time becomes hugely impactful in your life. So this is a fun way for you to have success, have a win. We're getting into, it's past the January resolution time. So if you did set resolutions, you might be like, oh, that didn't work. Try this approach, the SMART goals. And also, my husband has a client who does this once a year. It could sound a bit morbid, but there's, we've heard post-mortem. That's like after someone dies, they will evaluate what happened or, their life, whatever. This client does what he calls a pre-mortem. Once a year, every year, he will go off by himself for a weekend or even a day and just do a pre-mortem. He thinks about his life. And at the end of his life, what does he want his legacy, his story to be, his memory? How does he want people to think of him? What does he want to have his life look like? And then he kind of rewinds. Okay, well, where am I now? How is my life headed to go in that direction? And so that's kind of also, in a way, if you think of it like doing the mood board, you are just really painting a picture of what are the most important things in your life right now. Who are the people? What are the things that are really the most important? Because our day-to-day life ends up and can very easily be overtaken by other people's telling us what should be important. Someone will say, oh, I need help. Even in a business, sometimes someone will ask for something or request something or complain about something. And all of a sudden we bump that up to the top of the list when it's really not the most important thing and it can wait. And so for us to sit in the driver's seat of our lives and to really decide where we're driving, where are we headed? If we're going to allow this thing on the side of the road to make us pull over and stop and look at that, or are we going to just keep driving past that and decide where we are headed and where the destination is? What is important in your life, And for me, it's been a big pivot, for me to really sit back and okay, hold on. I want to shift what I'm focusing on. At first, when I started my business, it really was so much for me about having financial success and growing my followers. I wanted these outside sources of validation. And I've realized that's not fulfilling. That's not what I want anymore. And so for me, I'm realizing my family is coming first. I want to, on my mood board, I have poker and Texas Hold'em. I want to learn to play these games with my family. I have personal development. I want to learn Spanish and play the piano. I want to really take care of my body. And with the business, what is it that drives me with the business? And I'll just share here. This is just me sharing so you can see what my picture looks like, but not to shape your picture. I want to motivate you to and inspire you to really sit down and paint your own picture and tap into where you're headed. What are your own goals and dreams? And only you know that. That's inside of your heart and your mind. But for me, with my business, I love sewing and creating, and I want to really help other people do that as well. I was scared of a sewing machine for the majority of my life, actually, even after taking a sewing class in high school. And now I love it. And I am very good at creating things with my hands. And I forever thought I couldn't, that wasn't me. All these other people are so great with that, not me. And all her other people, like, I just admire what you can create with your hands, but you can do it too, you know? So I want to help people discover and appreciate and enjoy that. And then this other facet of my business is, man, I've learned how to create money. Like, this is lucrative. You can have success with this. And I see so many women who want to do that and don't know how. And I want to give tangible advice. I want to be a helper of helping other women. And I say women because I've really mostly 99% worked with women. Men are welcome as well. But I want you to know that you can, even in this quilting community, like people think, oh, it's a dying community. Oh, no one spends or earns money here. It's just not the case. Like, you can earn money. You can start a business. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a stay-at-home mom and have a job and earn good money. It's possible. And my gosh, I see people struggling with that. And I don't want you to struggle. And I want to help you with that. And so that is such a passion of mine. Which I mentioned last week, and I'll mention again this week. I will be opening up very soon a mentorship program for a handful of people. And these are people who are passionate about what you do. Your why drives you. You have something that you love and you want to influence and impact the world, and you want to grow that business of yours. I don't care what stage you are in your business. We are going to work together. There's going to be some one-on-one and some group coaching and mentoring. And we're going to talk about how to grow your audience, how to create offers, how to sell those offers. So if this is something you're interested in, send me an email, hello@quilterscandy.com, and let me know. And I cannot wait to work with these people. Like I said, this is my passion. And I mentioned a few weeks ago in a podcast that as I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I did the graduation call for my quilt pattern writing class, and having the students come on that call and share their work and see the excitement that they have and the creativity, and I just loved it. It just lit me up. And I saw so much promise and potential there. I was like, oh my gosh, do I reach out to these people? And like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, I haven't, but there's just, man, there is so much talent out there. And I love connecting with people on that level and working with business owners that way. So that's why I'm doing this. So again, if you're interested, reach out. I'm still in my mind finalizing the details. I want it to be very crystal clear what is entailed in this mentorship. And I'm still trying to nail down the time frame, how long it's going to be, long enough that it can actually make a difference in your business, but not too long that I burn out. So I'm thinking like a month or two, and then the price of what I'll charge for this. So those are things I'm still toying with. But if you're interested, again, send an email. And also be sure to download this SMART Goals worksheet that I've created for you. Go ahead. Let's make some of these tiny little baby steps that over time can totally change the trajectory of who we are, our identity, and just start setting some goals that matter to us that can be a win. 10 minutes a day on the treadmill. Done. Yes, I did it. And it's slowly but surely changing our lives and who we are and our identity of ourselves. So thank you so much for being here. My goodness, it is so fun for me to chat with you and talk about things that really move the mark. Did I say that right? Really make a difference? We'll go with that. If you have not left a review for the podcast, my big ask of you is to just take a second and do that. That's my way of knowing that this podcast resonates with you listeners. And there's also some amazing guests that I am about to reach out to be a guest on the podcast. I'll tell you what they do. They're going to go and look and see how many reviews the podcast has. And that will determine if they're going to say yes or no. So for you to be able to hear from some amazing business people, thought people, motivational speakers, all the things, do yourself a favor and leave a review for the podcast. That is your way of paying it forward to yourself and to other entrepreneurs. But it's the easiest thing you can do to like treat yourself to some amazing content. So go ahead and leave a review for the podcast. And if you are enjoying the podcast, you can subscribe and follow so that every time there's a new episode, you will get a little notification like, oh, hey, there's a new episode. Come check it out. So be sure to do that. And I will see you with brand new content coming soon. Until then, good luck with your goals. And if you want to reach out and share how that's going, I would love to hear. So take care.